And we are live with the Live Reality Game podcast. My name is Nathan from Big Brother Columbus 7, and we have Clark here from, oh gosh, I'm going to mess up the name of this, The Root of All Evil.
Yep, The Root of All Evil live game. That's perfect. Hi, everybody.
Clark, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm so excited to have you as our guest, our first ever guest on the Challenge podcast. Lee is not with us yet, but he might be able to join us later. We will see. And Clark, just tell me about. Let's start by telling me. You're from the live reality game community. Tell me about the game that you host.
Yep. So the game I'm going to be hosting this October is called The Root of All Evil Live. It's sort of like a Roaring 20s themed murder mystery. Think about your favorite reality shows and combine them together. So it's sort of a combination of The Challenge, The Mole, Whodunit, with a Roaring 20s twist. So I'm super, super excited for it. There's going to be 20 people in a house together. One of them is the killer, and they have to interact with challenges, and they're going to have an examination each episode. And in the end, one of them is going to be the winner.
Awesome. So an examination, just like the mole kind of?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily like the mole where, they're trying to sabotage challenges to make it to the end. The killer doesn't have to do that. The killer is trying to just remain undetected.
Okay. I like it. I like it a lot. Is it going to be a little bit, so you say Roaring 20s theme. I love Whodunit. I love everything, the Lindsay of it all. And is it going to be kind of like the Joey, Christina Survive the Night series on YouTube?
So funny story about that. I've hosted 3 seasons of it online. So after I finished the first season of it online, that's when Escape the Night came out. And I'm like, this bitch. I'm like, that is the exact vibe I was going for. So I'm hoping we are low budget. But we are hoping to sort of keep it the same vibe. Very Gatsby-esque. With a slasher murderous twist.
And has it already? So have you already cast the show yet?
We have determined to cast. Yes. We're finalizing the challenges, getting all the items in order, ironing out the twists before it is run in late October in North Carolina.
I love it. In North Carolina, nonetheless. Fantastic. Yep, that's where I'm from.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Just in California now, but I've lived in North Carolina for 5 years, so it's familiar stomping grounds.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Lee joining us.
Hi.
I did not completely forget about this.
Welcome, Lee. How are you doing?
Doing well. How are you lot doing? Nice to meet you, Clark.
Nice to meet you.
Good. We were just talking about Clark's live game that he hosts, The Root of All Evil. Clark, have you taken any inspiration from the challenge in your own challenges?
A little bit, yes. What I'm really enjoying about the Challenge All-Stars is it seems that there are a lot of challenges that combine both physical and mental aspects of it, and those are my favorites. The Challenge All-Stars is definitely one of my most favorite challenge seasons.
Wow.
Just based on the challenges. They seem very unique, and I'll talk about it later on. But I definitely love the combination of both physical and mental elements in a challenge.
Yeah, well, what are some of the favorites that you've seen so far?
In All-Stars?
Yeah, in All-Stars.
I loved the rope challenge that they did in episode 4. I was like, not necessarily mental, but... So
you're talking the one where they cross the rope and then have to undo a rope from the other team.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I loved that challenge. Because I've watched quite a few challenge seasons, and the challenges where they're over water and they're dealing with ropes, they tend to get a little bit repetitive. Whereas with this one, there's a head-to-head element. You got to try and beat the other person to the end. And then when you get to the end, you have to figure out which rope you want to remove strategically. So there is that mental element there. And I was just like, this is so cool. I wish I could do this in a live game, but budget.
Yeah, I really liked it. I just wish they had gone a couple extra rounds of it.
Yeah, I agree.
You have a fan in the audience. Will's shouting at you out, Clark.
Yeah, Will's actually on the production team for Root of All Evil Live.
Oh, great. Awesome. So what other challenges have you liked from this season?
I mean, I really enjoyed parts of the challenge history challenge. Just because, just hearing, I mean, in the newer seasons of the challenge on MTV, they don't really ask any questions about challenge history anymore.
Yeah, it's just general knowledge.
Yeah, all these people from all these other shows, they've probably never seen the challenge. So it was really nice to watch them ask questions about previous seasons of the challenge. I didn't necessarily like you have to step on this platform, and if you fall through, then you're out. I didn't like that aspect of it, but I loved the challenge trivia.
Yeah, I was thinking about that a little bit, and it's somewhat similar in terms of function to when they've done trivia and they're like holding on to the big rocket like in season 35.
Yeah.
And then if you fall off when they, let it drop a little bit, then that combines the strength element to the trivia, which I like. This wasn't as much of a strength, it's just how heavy are you?
Yeah. It seemed very much okay, are you heavy or are you light enough to make it through to another question? And it seemed like the guys just dropped instantly. They got one wrong, they stepped on the platform, and they're like, boop, bye.
Yeah, Mark stood no chance.
Oh, absolutely not.
Mark's platform was breaking before he even took a step.
Okay, so my most questioning challenge. So I've been a little critical of one of the challenges, especially this year, and that is the one with the tiles that they had to break after eating a spicy pepper.
Oh yeah,
and that was between
my elimination.
Yeah, Clark, what did you think of that challenge?
Oh, okay. I was thinking like it was a main challenge, and I'm like, nope, that's an elimination challenge, and I felt the same way. I was like, I don't get this. It went by way too quick. And then it just seemed, it ended up being a foot race to the end. I like the element of putting the people in the elimination, like adding another twist to it. Like, oh, they have to spin around 10 times, or they have to do this while dizzy. So I didn't have an issue with them eating the peppers, because I'm like, that does add to the difficulty a little bit. But just hitting the tiles and knocking them out in the elimination, I'm just like, this is boring.
Yeah, I just kind of wish like eating the peppers was part of the timed part of the challenge.
Yeah, I agree.
So like you had to eat them fast enough and then go break tiles. I don't know. Then it would be something. It would still be weird and awkward.
There's an elimination challenge that's close to my heart. In one of my favorite seasons ever is Cutthroat. Have either of you seen it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, the slap happy challenge.
Oh my god, that's.
I'm like, this is so.
Yes.
Stupid.
Yes.
It's just, I like watching stupid elimination challenges. And then just eating the peppers or slapping themselves. Like, I enjoy a stupid elimination every once in a while.
I forgot about the slapping one, but I can't believe they've never brought it back. I can believe they've never brought it back, because it looks like you can get some real face damage there.
I don't think they liked it that season, because they only brought it back. They only did it once and never brought it back, but they brought back every other elimination.
Yep.
But it was just so funny. Then walking in to the challenge, not knowing what it is, and then Dunbar confessions like, this looks like some sort of sex thing that Cara Maria has in her basement.
Wasn't it Big Easy in that?
Yep.
Yeah, Big Easy versus Luke, and then Katie versus Aya.
Yeah, and Big Easy looked terrible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Luke and Big Easy had to shave right before that elimination as well.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, they had to slap each other for like an hour or so, and then TJ's like, "All right, you're done slapping. Now you just have to hold this bucket up."
Yeah, while still slapping.
And Clark, for this season? What are your general impressions of the cast coming in to this to All Stars?
I'm really enjoying the cast, especially the women. The women are absolutely just giving it all this season. I'm loving it. I'm a huge Gisela fan. I love seeing Beth. I love seeing Katie. The women are just giving us everything we need. Kendall, Ruthie, love it. What would I say? I was looking at the alternates for this cast, and there are a couple of alternates that I would have preferred to have seen in the main cast. Like, I thought Kahada was an alternate. I'm like, I would have preferred Kahada over Ace.
Yeah, me too.
Plus, it would have been interesting because then we'd have a Kahada Kellyanne storyline.
Yes. Yeah.
And potentially a Kahada Cyrus, like, redemption.
Oh, yeah.
From the
elimination. Send you home.
Yeah. So there are a couple, like Heather Cook, she was an alternate, and she's only been in one season. I think she would have been a great person to have in this cast. I mean, I'm guessing people don't know too much about her because she was only on one season as a replacement.
She was on Rivals too. No, Cara was her replacement partner. She was originally on the cast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she needed the replacement.
But yeah, there are a couple of alternates that I would have preferred. The guys this season, some of them are really great. I'm really enjoying. I'm looking through the guys list right now. Just a second. Terrell is always great.
Yes.
Literian, Nehemiah. I enjoyed Tech when he was on. I'm like, he just a lot of entertainment. I will say, I'm glad that Mark Long was able to get this project together, but I was discussing it with somebody yesterday. It seems like a bit of a conflict of interest that he is in the cast and an executive producer.
A little bit, yes. I was wondering that too myself. Granted, these challenges, provided like the producers are making, the judgment calls, not him. So many of these things are so physical and they're timed, so it's harder to fib the conflict of interest in the same way as some other games. Like if Big Brother, like if there's a conflict of interest in Big Brother, like you're gonna know that it exists because there's so many heavy producer hands in what goes on.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with you on the woman in the cast being so strong. The one alternate I kind of would have been interested in seeing is Casey. Just because I feel like she still has something to prove.
Yeah, I'm a Casey fan also, so I would have enjoyed. I mean, just looking at the female cast, though, really the only person that I could see from this cast, like off the cast, is Trishelle. I am not a Trishelle fan. So I'm okay with Trishelle off the cast, even though I did enjoy her fight with Katie. But
out of nowhere.
Yes, like I enjoyed that. But between Casey and Trishelle, I would have preferred Casey.
Yeah, I think we all would have preferred Casey over certain females in this cast that may have quit the previous episode.
Maybe.
We will get into it.
Clark has some feelings on that, and he's promised me that he will let us know what those are. But I wanted to kind of talk through just kind of the episodes in a general sense. So before we get into this most recent one, so Clark, what did you think of the first episode? They had that swimming challenge where everyone was like dying of old age, and then Ace is the first one to go. What was your thought on that?
I liked the first challenge. Like I've mentioned, I love challenges that have both a physical and a mental element to it. So I saw this first challenge and I'm like, oh, hey, this is kind of cool. Like a little basic, but I'm okay with it. Like I thought it was a cool challenge until everybody got out there and started swimming. I'm like, this is quite an unfortunate sight. I get it. They've been
or not swimming and just floating along, being paddled back to shore.
Yeah, I'm like, this is rough. I understand why. I don't. Do we know how heavy those blocks were?
Teacher said they were pretty heavy
Yeah.
when explaining them.
But
So
like,
it's
if like Gisela can get it back to shore, I have faith that like they're not too heavy.
Okay. Yeah, so I thought it was a really nice, great first challenge. It was just rough seeing everybody like DQ, DQ, go back. And then only a couple people finished the challenge.
Yeah, the lifeguards are really earning their overtime for this season.
They were doing more work than the cast in the challenge.
What are your thoughts on Ace?
If you have any.
Yeah, not really. Seeing Ace's original seasons, like when I was younger, I was like, I didn't really have any sort of feeling or emotion about Ace. He was just kind of there. And that's how I felt about this season with him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, he was just there. I'm glad he returned. I'm glad he got a second chance, but I'm glad he was first boot.
Yes, I've always seen him as sort of that person that looks good on paper, but just chokes every time. Every time they have to like put up or shut up, they end up shutting up.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it's probably really tough when you've been out of the challenge for over a decade and you don't really have these sort of connections going into it. Like Anissa, she has all these connections and she's also been in a lot of recent challenges. So it's not like she's out of the loop like Ace.
Yeah. So Lee and I have done our own drafts for who we think is going to win. Do you have any standout names that you think have the best shot?
Let me look. I'm looking at people that are really well connected socially, but are also likely to do well in a final. So let me see. Derek is going to stand out. Like, Derek's going to do really well. Darrell, he has a lot of really good connections and he's in great shape. Definitely capable of making it to a final. I feel like Mark is going to, but I don't know how he's going to do in a final, especially because you don't know what an All-Stars final is going to be like.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Nehemiah make it. I don't know about his social connections, whereas Derek and Darrell have been doing this for like 15, 20 years. They have really close friends. I don't know if Nehemiah has that, but he definitely does have the...
I think he did up until this episode.
Yeah.
I think he had a lot of connections, and then this episode really hurt Nehemiah.
I'm not sure what happened there. I'm like, there's a whole Derek-Nehemiah rivalry now that's not really discussed.
We'll get into it.
We will get into it. We will watch. I think Yes might stand a chance.
I'm noticing a lot of men.
Yeah, I'm just going down the list. I'm like, there will be women. Let me see. Anissa, great shot at making the finals because she does have that past experience. Gisela, I think, does. I don't think she's going to win just based on how she ran in this mini final.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that she does make the final, and I love her so much. Let's see who else. Kellyanne has a great shot of making it. And I feel like Kendall has a good shot also, but she is in danger socially. Like, she needs to either win a lot of challenges or she needs to get in somebody's good graces, or else she's just going to go into eliminations each and every round.
Yeah, she really screwed the pooch with her lifesaver episode.
I gotta talk about that.
Please do.
I have some words. So I got annoyed that there were a bunch of confessionals about Kendall, and the men are like, oh, she's being suspicious about the lifesaver. What is she gonna do? She's got us all on edge. She has us nervous. Like, this is not a proper way to play the lifesaver. And then fast forward one episode later, and Mark is doing the exact same thing, and nobody's saying anything about it. And Derek is practically worshiping him at his feet.
Well,
Like, this
Mark
is just
Long.
hypocrisy right here.
Kendall ain't the godfather of the challenge.
I know. It's like, it's okay for Mark to do this because he's the godfather of the challenge. But when Kendall has this power of the lifesaver, it's like, oh, we got to be careful of Kendall.
I think that's because this is no shade to Mark. He's great. Mark's
He is
very predictable. He's kind of predictable with what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Kendall, you don't know what she's doing.
She's what? She played one season?
She won one season in a team situation.
Yeah.
Whereas Mark, he won, I'm sure, a season or two back in the days where a challenge was literally spray paint letters on your body and make words.
I'm like,
yeah, that was a challenge. That was a thing.
Mark has been doing the challenge since I was 7, so I get it.
What was the first season of the challenge again that he was on? If anyone can remember.
The first one, I think.
He was on the very first one.
What year was that?
1999.
Wow, I wasn't even born then.
Oh God, making me feel old.
So I wasn't even a thought.
I think the one distinction between Kendall and Mark, though, is that Mark was having conversations, and Kendall was and openly like, "Hey, I'm going to talk to everyone and make a decision." And Kendall was, I just don't know what I'm going to do. And she wasn't like having conversations, being able to reassure some people, because like Mark was being able to at least reassure some people and say, "You're absolutely not going in. Will you protect me?"
Like
yeah,
I mean, he's
sure. I mean, he lied. He was giving the same spiel to everybody.
Yeah,
and tell everyone the same story. One person gets screwed.
Yeah, but like Kendall didn't do the reassuring part of it, which is like what you need to do for the people who you're not going to go after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I understand.
Yeah,
but yeah, the double standard is for sure there, though.
Yeah, it's always been there for the challenge with men and women, where like a man does one thing and everyone's like, "Wow, you're great," where a woman does it, where it's like, "You're a horrible person. Why do you exist?" That's a whole other like.
Yeah, that is a whole other podcast for every other show under the sun.
Speaking of the episode 3, what did you think of the ice melting challenge?
Did I mention I love a stupid challenge? I love a stupid challenge. And it's, I mean, at least with the ice challenge, it is a familiar challenge.
Mm-hmm.
What I did not enjoy was how easily breakable those shields were. Like, were they just made out of, like, paper plates or something?
Probably.
You got Mark, who has a size 15 shoe. I mean, he's not going to gingerly grab these shields. He's going to, like, Hulk smash them and just, like, ugh.
Yes.
Well, then get somebody else on the team to do it who isn't a giant 15-pound man. Like,
yeah.
So it's like, I mean, they were given hammers to smash the ice. Like, you're not going to smash it gingerly.
So I like the challenge. I didn't like how fragile those shields were.
Yeah. The episode 4, we get and this is the last episode. We have the On the Ropes challenge. You've already mentioned how much you like that.
Yes.
But this is where the big elimination catastrophe goes, where Mark uses the lifesaver and Arissa gets voted in.
Only time we're going to see that happen.
Yeah. What did you think of the Arissa drama?
So I sort of mentioned this. I am pro Arissa in this instance, but I've been following Arissa on Twitter, and she like goes into the whole behind the scenes situation about it. Going into the season, Arissa has a gluten allergy. which they don't really bring up all that much on the challenge. But she does have a pretty severe gluten allergy, which did get, like, she had an allergic reaction in quarantine. So obviously she's going in, she's not in the greatest of shape. But then she brings up all these instances on Twitter of other members of her cast basically disrespecting the way that she eats. There may be instances that she brought up of somebody cutting bread on her cutting board, or eating from her, basically eating from her food storage, to where production had to step in and say, listen, it takes us 48 to 72 hours to replace Arissa's food. So Arissa going in, she's probably going in thinking, okay, this cast has already disrespected me in these amount of ways, and now they're voting me in after quite a few of them have already said that they're going to keep me safe. So I'm one, when it comes to reality shows, I see a lot of this quitter animosity. I don't feel that. I'm like, we are not in their shoes. There is a mental element to it. There's a physical element to it. If you're not on your A game, both mentally and physically, and you have to look out for your own personal well-being, I am 100% for that. Like, Arissa did the best thing for her in the situation, which, granted, we got a fantastic TV moment out of it. Like, her screaming at the entire cast was better than anything in Double Agents. Like, bar none, that season was so boring, but Arissa gave us like 60 seconds of TV gold.
I would take a Arissa blow up over another Josh meltdown any day.
Thank you.
Stop casting him, please.
Thank you.
He was shit on Big Brother. He was terrible. No one likes him. Stop casting him. Cast better Big Brother people.
Yeah. I
Stop casting from Big Brother. It's a shit show anyway.
We've got Big Brother Canada. We've got Big Brother Australia. You're doing a whole bunch of outsourcing to all these other countries, but where's Canada and Australia? Where's the love then?
I think I'm more okay with this with Arissa leaving here, because I don't think it necessarily changed the outcome.
Yes.
Yeah. She still would have lost it.
I get more bothered when it like changes the game in a way it wouldn't have otherwise.
Yes, I do understand that. She was up against Beth, and while I don't think Beth is the most physical of contestants, I think looking at the challenge, Beth probably would have won. But I'm supportive of Arissa's decision, especially knowing what she discussed behind the scenes of everything that happened. She was not treated well on the challenge by cast and by crew. So I sort of sympathize with her decision.
Yeah, I hear you there. And I don't follow her on Twitter, so I don't get that perspective. I thought she was entertaining this season. The only thing I don't like is when somebody's a nothing burger. And I want everyone to bring something to the screen, to the storylines, and she had so many segments of either being zen or having or like the trippy burning incense thing that was just, it was so kooky and old school, and I loved that.
Yes.
They're praising the sun.
Yeah, praising the sun.
I love that. Like, I do not need 22 physical competitors with no personalities on there. Like,
yes,
that's what Double Agents is.
Yeah, I think the challenge getting back to personalities and not in away from like pure athletes with no personality, it makes the show richer.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's what people has always been asking for, like, these modern seasons. Like, the show's like, oh, you want like twists and stuff, like with the whole stupid skull twist, which I hope they get rid of. Because people were like complaining, like, people are making the finals, so going into eliminations, they need to prove themselves. Like, already having win seasons already isn't enough.
I sort of have a suggestion for that. And the problem is it's the veterans that are going in, they are pretty much planning the elimination that they most want. They want to go up against a rookie. They want to go up against a layup. They
wait
want
for a physical challenge.
Yeah, they want an easy elimination win. They want their gold skull or their red skull or whatever colored skull handed on a platter. And I particularly like what they did in Free Agents, where if you're in the bottom group, then there's the luck of the draw that you have to go into. And I like that. I like that luck of the draw where you could go in at any moment and have elimination.
Want to bring back a skull twist? Do the one in Rivals 3 where vote in 2 teams. One will pick out a skull that will go in. The other will just walk back.
Mm-hmm.
And that will always be Devin and Cheyenne.
Exactly. And
yeah, but that always brings drama too, which is the good part. You want anything that fosters drama.
Yes, and that's what's the problem with these skull twists. You're losing the political drama, and we're getting this stupid drama of Josh cries version 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. This person I think is attractive and is hooking up with other person.
Let's give them a skull.
Here. Yes, I have a personality. I'm an introvert. Introverts don't go on reality television. Quote stolen from somebody I heard that off of.
I wish they did, but yeah, you're kind of right there.
Most often not. Clark, you have another fan out there. Hannah says, "I can't wait to see Root of All Evil."
Hi, Hannah. Thank you.
Hannah's isn't on this season, so you won't have to worry about that.
So let's get to the beginning of this episode. 30 minutes in this podcast. But no, it's really great having Clark to be able to pick your brain about this, especially from somebody who runs a game and kind of has this eye for what makes a good character, what makes a good twist. So this is previously on the challenge. Can we talk about the previously ons? So in recent years they've been bringing in like contestants to announce it.
Mm-hmm.
So that this latest one, someone said somebody lashed out, and then someone goes and grabs Beth's lashes out of her eye.
I love it.
It was Beth was like holding a box of lashes. Jamie comes up, somebody lashed out, and then Arissa walks in and just like smacks the lashes out of Beth's hand.
I mean, I love the previously on the challenge, Tech and Ruthie getting out of the water naked.
Yes.
So silly.
Oh, this is such a win.
I like that the modern seasons are doing. Like, Double Agents, as much boring it was. I had some good previously on the challenges, like Big T on the ledge, just like previously on the challenge. Get me off.
I'm here for it. The other thing I'm here for this season is the music. They keep bringing in the throwback songs, and this episode starts off with none other than Uninvited by Natalie Imbruglia playing, and making it really clear that like Arissa was uninvited from the house. Oof.
I'm loving the soundtrack also. I'm noticing on your notes, last episode, 100% Pure Love, which... That was a Drag Race lip sync song, and I was just like, I'm watching the episode, and I'm like, yes, 100% Pure Love.
Yes,
loved it. I love
Ike Mora.
It was so good, and I'm loving the music on this season. It's such a great choice.
They've always been one good for their music, I feel like.
Yeah, it's just the way this plays in with the throwback, because they're bringing stuff from the early 2000s into this season.
It's like the challenge has gone on this sort of wave where it's like the late 2000s was heavy metal and, well, not really heavy metal, but more so like Shinedown and really obscure rock bands. And then later on, you're going into the more top 40 songs on the challenge. And now in All Stars, we're going back to 90s throwbacks.
Yeah, we're hearing all those songs I only know of because of Drag Race.
So we have this Beth pep talking Cyrus because she needs him to be there. The last time he lost was in the ruins, Chikahara, and now he's like running a bunch of businesses. He's engaged. Clark, what do you make of the Beth Cyrus alliance? Along with there's Jemmy and Nehemiah and
I think that's it.
was somebody else in there?
I think they're like the main four, and then there's like stragglers.
I guess Latyrian because of Cyrus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love the Beth and Cyrus alliance. Like, I just love watching the two of them together. Like, my first season that I watched was The Gauntlet 2, and Beth and Cyrus were such huge personalities on that season. So it's sort of like that familiarity, like, oh, hey, it's Beth and Cyrus. You watched them when you first started the show. Aren't they so cute together? But even though you're watching the episode and it's in the beginning and they're having this really heartfelt moment, that you know either one or both of them are going to be eliminated.
Yeah. I've been just crossing my fingers this whole time. I was like, for Beth to survive, and then last episode, like, she didn't even have to see elimination. I went into this episode, I'm like, oh, awesome. Beth won't have to see elimination again because it's a guys episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I was pretty blindsided through this episode.
Yeah, I'm going through your notes right now of previous episodes, and I'm like, Arissa, she had a moment in the beginning of the episode. She quits that episode. Tech has a moment in the beginning of episode 3. He knows that episode.
That's an editing trick that I feel like reality shows like to abuse. Like, this one person that's like usually you didn't get much of gets something in the beginning of an episode. You know, like, oh, this is the episode they're going home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I even said that with like episode 3. I was like, oh, Ruthie got a confession at last. She's probably going home.
And it's like that.
I don't know what this comment is from Live Reality Games. Me too. I assume it's Dustin.
Is it a wine emoji?
Yeah, is he having a beverage as well? Is that what he's referring to? Okay. Well, then we see this weird segment of Derek trying to climb the building.
Oh yeah, another foreshadowing of somebody that usually did not get attention and then all of a sudden did. And it's like, oh, they must have a storyline. Not with Derek, but with the next person.
Alton.
With Alton trying to climb.
Yeah.
I am just watching the elimination and how it's pretty much the elimination from episode 4, but now you have a climbing element added to it. I was like, this is a little bit too convenient right here. You have a whole segment about Alton trying to climb this, and then now in this elimination, you're adding a climbing element to it?
Yes. Didn't he have a big climbing challenge way back when they were like in a pit or something?
Gauntlet elimination against Latyrian, it was a climbing challenge.
Because LT brought it up in the beginning. That was the elimination he lost, and it was like just climbing a pole out of a pool.
And LT did terrible. And I think in Gauntlet 2, there was another climbing challenge where it was like, you're in like this pit and there's like a corner wall, you have to try and get over it, and Alton is like the first one out.
It's been a while since I watched that season, so I don't really
have a weird memory with challenge stuff, with reality show stuff. Name a season, I can probably list off the order.
So speaking of something weird, can we talk about Derek's pants? Did you notice them during this climbing segment? They were like bright and splotchy and like just neon, like eye-assaulting colors.
He's bringing the old school more ways than one.
Yeah, good for Derek. Like,
yeah. There's nothing wrong with a little color.
We have Kirk in the audience. Yay, Clark is here.
Clark is here. I guess we're just not good enough.
Yeah, hey, we're here every week. Clark's getting all the special love, and it's deserved. So we get to the challenge. This is Connect 'Em All. This is the mini final challenge where teams of 6 are racing to a checkpoint with a puzzle with a math element, and then they kind of like divvy up into pairs and then solo after the last checkpoint. And we learn there's no more lifesaver. Which, is this too early to get rid of the lifesaver?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It seems very Medallion of Power in Survivor Nicaragua. It's like, oh, hey, we're going to use this twist for just a couple episodes, and then we're going to get rid of it.
Well, the Medallion of Power needed to go away.
Yeah, but why did the lifesaver need to go away?
I think production was like, we don't want to go through that again. We're just going to cut it off.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it brought such good drama. I feel like now that they knew what the format was, they could finally use it and create some new situations.
I think they're afraid like people like come up with loopholes, or like people just start throwing themselves in. Like if let's say Darrell won the lifesaver, Kendall can be like, "Oh, I'll go in," knowing like Darrell's going to use the lifesaver on me.
Yeah, but that's interesting though. I like the emergent strategy that comes from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'd be afraid like production was afraid that they're going to abuse the power.
I see Kirk's question. I'm drinking a giant jug of Diet Peach Snapple, and it's almost empty.
Joy. So we have the 3 teams here, and there's no captains in this one because the challenge ends with a solo run to the finish line. Clark, what did you think of this season, like the captain format for the team challenges?
I did not like it. I'll be honest. What I didn't like is there was a lot of, okay, I don't want to be the captain. You can be the captain. Like people did not want to step up to the plate, but were sort of forced to assume the captain role. So I didn't really care too much for that. What I probably would have preferred is maybe either randomly determine the captains for a challenge, or say if you've been a captain in a challenge, you cannot be a captain again.
So you just have to at some point.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I would have preferred. Because it's like there was a lot of instances of, I don't want to step up to be the captain. Please, somebody else do it. And that doesn't seem super fair.
Yeah. So, Lee, give me your thoughts on this challenge. What do you think of the format of it?
I actually thought it was pretty cool how it went from teams to pairs to solos.
I agree.
Yeah, the mini finals is always something enjoyable to watch. It helps view you what to expect for a final and shows competitors, okay, this person's terrible in a final when it comes to running. This one is good in a final when it comes to puzzles. Like it helps people figure out their strengths and their opponent's strengths on, is this person I want to keep in a final or somebody I don't want to be partnered up with in a final.
Yeah. I think my only gripe with it is that the final run was only downhill. I kind of wish it had some uphill elements to make it more of a race. Because it kind of seemed like they finished pretty much in the order they finished the puzzles, aside from Derek passing Kendall up. Otherwise, everyone ended up in their same order.
Yeah. I wish there was some sort of like last sort of physical element that they had to complete, because they had a math puzzle in the beginning and then they had a visual puzzle in the end. So maybe, or an eating portion. Like an eating portion would have been perfect for like the final step. But I also feel they didn't need to divide up individually if it was just each pair was leaving from the puzzle and then racing to the finish line.
Yeah, we might have gotten more drama if they stayed as pairs, because then you would get the faster person kind of frustrated with the slower person.
Yes.
Yeah, and it would have made more sense in the elimination. Like, imagine if Alton was voted in and then the person he was partnered with in the puzzle also pulled into the elimination with them.
Yeah, and they still would have been able to do the big reveal, and it wouldn't have, just the guy from the pair would have been the one presumably going to elimination.
Yeah.
Who was Alton's partner in the puzzle, in the memory portion? Was it Ruthie or was it Gisela?
Alton was with Jeanne.
Not even close.
And she was not happy about it.
Yeah, like I think when it comes, like when we get to the elimination, if Alton was like, since you were partnered to Alton, you are now also in this elimination, rather than Alton, out of all these women, now that you know what this elimination is, pick whichever one will help you win.
Yeah, I agree with that. That was probably my main gripe about how this episode went. But I will discuss that when we get to
Yes.
when we start discussing the elimination.
Yeah, let's hold off on that for right now.
We'll get
So
to it.
we see the three teams have different struggles going up the hill. The gold team, I think, was pretty strong. They except for Gisela was gassing out, and she talks about running from alligators. And Clark, you're from Florida.
Yes.
So can you tell us if this is true? If an alligator is following you, you're supposed to run zigzag.
It was so accurate, it hurt. I was watching the episode and I'm just like, I feel seen because I live in an apartment right now, but when the last house that I lived in, we had a giant lake behind it filled with alligators. Like, I would get home from school one day and we'd drive up and Animal Care and Control is there wrangling an alligator. And I'm just like, I get this. I laughed so hard. It was so accurate. And I love Giselle.
I've never heard of running in zigzag for alligators. I've heard it for like running away from someone who's shooting at you. But like, an alligator is not run in zigzag.
Yeah, I guess. I've never had to do it, but I mean.
So that's all she knows about running. The other team, Copper team, with Big Easy, Jarrell, Katie, Ruthie, Anissa, and Mark. They're doing really well. Big Easy is not really holding them up. And Mark is pushing them forward. There's no stopping there. But the the silver team with Cyrus, Yes, Jamie, John A, Beth, and Alton. Alton struggling, and Cyrus has a limp foot because he rolled his ankle. But Cyrus is carrying the team because Alton is just gassed out halfway up the hill, and I was shocked by this. I did not expect Alton to be the one struggling here. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, just watching Alton's previous seasons, I was like, where's this coming from? I'm surprised because he looks like he's in great shape. So it definitely was a surprise.
Now, he is one of the taller people. Was there anything to do with like height for this? Like, taller people just can't get support from shorter people because they're trying to run with the log on their shoulders. Did that hurt at all? Because Cyrus was in the back, so he probably had an easier leverage.
Yeah, wasn't Cyrus taller than Alton?
No, I think Alton's taller than Cyrus. I think. I'm not sure. Yeah,
but Cyrus was in the back, so he would have been able to stand up mostly straight.
Yeah, whereas Alton probably has to like lean forward a little bit to try and carry it. So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe he's just exerting more energy, just maybe couldn't get a good grip on the log. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I wasn't there.
I mean, I think at that point you just let it go and you say, I need a break. I will keep up pace, but I need a break from carrying. And I think if that happened, they would have been fine.
I don't think they were allowed because every time somebody's hand would fall off, somebody would scream, keep your hand on the log.
Yeah. I think I noticed that with every team, everybody had at least one hand on the log.
Yeah, so I think it must have been rules like everyone must have their hand on the log. Nobody can like it can't just be like Mark carrying the whole log by himself and every one of his
like a little twig that he just holds like a baby.
Yeah. And then everyone on his team just like keeping pace with him.
You go, Mark.
So we see people pair up. We get the copper team gets there first, then the gold team, then the silver team. Was anything surprising about the pairs for you?
I'm looking at the pairs right now. I'm like, is there anything that's really sticking out? Not really. Weren't Katie and Big Easy a pair together in Fresh Meat?
They were. Yeah.
I was kind of surprised about that, but not too surprised about that.
No, I expected them to go together. They always work together in these challenges.
Yeah, Darrell and Nisa makes sense because they've been on the most recent challenges together. Mark and Ruthie are super close.
Everyone's close with Mark, though.
That's true.
I feel like
That's true.
he says that about every girl except for Kendall. It's like me
Mhm.
and insert name here, like really close.
Funny moment from the last puzzle. Beth goes up to Laterian when and Laterian's like, "I'm not your partner."
I think she was exhausted, and Beth's like, "Tall man must be Cyrus," and then like, "No, wrong blonde."
I'm glad they kept that in there.
Yeah.
She's old. She can't see properly.
Yeah, she does not. She can't see this puzzle well either because she does not solve it.
And apparently, like reading from the Twitter, there were quite a few people that were colorblind. Like Cyrus, Alton, both colorblind.
Wow, I didn't know that. That would make it hard.
Yeah.
To really rely on their other partner.
And Beth is just over at another station.
Mm-hmm.
Beth is still at the bottom. She's still at the elimination waiting for Arissa to come back.
So we see Laterian and Kendall cross the finish line first, and this is a big win for Laterian. He's never won a challenge before.
Yeah, I was really glad they both won. Like, it was nice seeing that because I'm not really seeing who they are connected with socially.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem like two of the players that are more at risk amongst the house just because they haven't been in a challenge in a while. So it was nice to watch them come in first and win the challenge.
Kendall, we know like a bit, like we know she's close with Darrell, you know, her and Kellyanne have a thing. And then Laterian, we never see a lot of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like him and Cyrus, and then that was like the only connection we've seen of him.
Yeah, even to this point.
Yeah.
But finally he has a moment. You know, Laterian's been pretty under the radar for these last several episodes, so it's good to see him come back and have a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a struggle for who's between Big Easy and Beth and Cyrus, and this was like the worst case scenario in my mind because I don't want to see Katie or Beth go home.
I mean, at this point, we thought it was a male elimination, so it's
true.
like, oh well, they're safe anyway. Little did we know.
Yeah, if it sort of followed that order. I will, just going back to the Laterian thing, there was a video that I watched recently, a challenge like top 10, and it was the top 10 challenge competitive. Yes, popcorn muscles.
I saw that video as well.
Laterian was on the list.
Yeah, number 10.
Wow.
And it was so nice knowing like, hey, he finished this mini final, and in this list, he was listed as somebody with popcorn muscles. Like, it's possible.
Yeah. I mean, he did specifically say Laterian back in the day.
Yeah, I think he was an honorable mention, and the person that made the video said he's definitely redeeming himself with his All-Stars performance.
Yeah.
I'd say so. Neither Lee nor I picked Laterian for our winner draft, but he showed he could run a mini final, so he might have a shot at this thing.
He's great physically. I'm just not seeing where he is socially.
Yeah,
that's my issue, because I think he could do really well in a final, but I just don't know if he has the social chops to make it to the final.
Yeah. It's hard to tell at this point, especially with Cyrus leaving, and his one connection we've seen is now gone.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. So let's get to
if you haven't seen the episode, why are you watching?
Yeah, if you're this far in,
yeah.
Sorry about
it. So let's talk the strategy portion challenge. Cyrus wants Alton to go in. Alton wants Big Easy. What's the right move here for who?
I mean, it's difficult because you don't know what the elimination is.
I mean, we did because we had a preview, but in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, we knew, but they did not know. Like, It could be something that involves climbing or something that benefits easy, like a hall brawl.
Mm-hmm.
So
or it could be throw a ball at a target where it tells you the answers.
yeah, like it could be anything. So I understand Cyrus wanting to take out the person that he felt cost him.
Which
But
kind of true.
yeah, like I understand that, but it was also Cyrus and the puzzle. That was
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You could understand both stories. Like, you understand why Cyrus is saying the stuff he is, and you understand why Alton is saying the stuff he is.
And Cyrus, to me, like watching his past seasons, he does not seem like a competitor that wants to take the easy way out. Like he wants a fight. He wants to challenge himself, and I do respect that.
Yeah, I think I'm worried for any of the people who didn't vote for Alton here, because I think when I'm looking at the votes for Alton, we have Mark, Darrell, Anissa, Ruthie, Katie, and that seems like to kind of be the core of the house. And so the people on the outside, like who voted for Big Easy, Jemmy, Jonna, Gisela, or Nehemiah, who voted for Derek.
And Derek will vote for Nehemiah.
Yeah, but Derek's vote, I don't think means
They
he's
were both
outside of
earned
the
votes.
power. Yeah. Nehemiah, I'd be a little more worried about than Derek, but I'm worried about where Jemmy and Gisela and John A stand from this.
Well, Jemmy has made it vocal that she does not want to be with Easy in a final, because she
Mhm.
was trying to like convince Kendall to use the lifesaver to see if Easy could get thrown in. So maybe she's been more vocal about that and we just haven't seen it. So maybe that's why she voted Easy over Alton. Gisela, her and Alton apparently are in love. And Johnny was partnered with Alton, so that's why she didn't vote for him. So there's definitely reasons behind why they didn't vote Alton
Yeah.
in.
Well, and if they did manage to vote in Big Easy, I think we could have had an entirely different outcome here.
I wonder who it could have been Katie going home. Because I'm pretty sure if
He would
Easy
have pulled in Katie, probably.
100%.
But actually no, because then Katie could go over top and Big Easy can go through.
Yeah, and Big
Because
Easy
Big Easy can lift up Katie, no problem. It would have been very interesting to see that opposite strategy in the competition.
Yeah, you'd probably hear Josh Groban's "You Raised Me Up" as Big Easy is lifted.
That would be amazing. So we do get so Alton gets voted into elimination, and they go to the bar, and we hear a different song. It's "Good Vibrations" by Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, as Alton and Gisela are vibing with each other. Lee, what do you think of this coupling?
Yeah, I'm all for it. Go right ahead.
I mean, yeah, go right ahead. I thought coming into this Gisela was married, because I thought she said she was. Apparently she is not.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Probably not. And I also thought Alton was with someone, because actually I just always assume like all these people, so, like, since they're older and not doing the challenge, like, oh, they must have like real lives, like with families and kids and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, either way, they must have seen, hey, well, if Alton's going home, we got to make sure we get our time in now.
Yeah.
Just in
So
case.
that's fun. Like, we don't really see like good showmances. Like, we've had the debacle of these modern seasons where it has nothing good. But I feel like we've been getting an interesting showmance, like with Gisela and Alton, two people who think very highly of themselves, two people that are very outspoken, so it's only natural that they are drawn to each other.
Yeah.
I'm trying to count how many years was it since Gauntlet 2?
A lot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 100% for Alton and Gisela, and I agree with you that I'm enjoying the showmances on All Stars more so than the main series.
Also, it's just better in general.
Well, and who'd have thunk we'd get a showmance on a season with all 30 to 50-year-olds?
Old people. And
Old people.
Old. Yeah. Like, we had Jemmy and Nehemiah, and now we have Gisela and Alton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Although Jemmy and Nehemiah never got at it with each other.
I mean, yet.
I mean, Nehemiah
We're only
said,
halfway through the season.
I mean, Nehemiah said on like Twitter or something like he's 0 for 5 in challenge hookups.
Oof.
So take what you will.
Yep. And Beth and Nehemiah's potential showmance is now out the window.
Yeah.
So let's get to the
Yeah.
elimination. It's time for a twist. Latyrian and Kendall are both safe, which so now every elimination is
Kendall.
double. Beth is, because she came in last, she's also in danger. She's not even wearing tennis shoes. And the big twist here is Alton gets to pick a teammate, and whoever he picks can go home if they lose. This has never been done before in a challenge format. From what I can remember, this is
There's never
brand
been
new.
you can pick someone and they could also go home. There's been you can pick someone to help you in this elimination,
Mm-hmm.
but never this person is now also competing in this elimination and could go home.
Yeah, I kind of love this. It brings in such a new dynamic for strategy. Like, you bring in someone who you know is good, but you're not aligned with, just in case, like, your alliance can succeed later. Or do you just bring in your closest alliance member and then you both go down with the ship?
I'm on the other side of it. I did not particularly care for it. I more so prefer that. I mean, it's difficult. They say it's a twist, but I am one where it's like I like all the cards out on the table. Like
Mhm.
I like twists in the game. I like when the format changes and you keep things fresh. But going into the elimination and you say, oh yeah, we're just going to have, it's going to be double eliminations from now on. Beth, get your ass in here. I'm like, okay, they did Beth really dirty.
They did.
Yeah.
And especially because she was paired up with somebody who's injured.
Yeah, exactly. So I wish that it would have been announced at the beginning, like at the very beginning, like before the challenge even started, like, hey, that you're doing double eliminations from now on. One guy and one girl are going to be eliminated each round. So at least it's still a twist in the game, but people can prepare for it a little bit better. Like if Beth is going into an elimination, you know Beth is going into an elimination.
Yeah, and they might not have voted in Alton.
Yeah.
I think it maybe would have been better if they said it like once the challenge is done. Like Cyrus, you are going into elimination. Beth, you are also going into elimination because from now on it's going to be double eliminations.
I am also okay with that because then people are going into the voting and they know what to expect.
Yeah.
And they know what to prepare for a little bit more. They know that it's going to be a double, and I would have probably preferred with the voting, each person votes in one man and one woman to face off against Beth and Cyrus together.
Yeah.
Just so it's a little bit more fair.
Yeah. I also think they should have kept, I did mention this earlier, how I think when it comes to Alton choosing, it should have been kept in pairs of the challenge. So it's like, since John A, you were Alton's partner, you are now also in this elimination, which definitely would have been unfair for John A as well. But
it would have been a more even matchup, let's be real. Anissa is leagues above John A.
Yeah, like Anissa has like TJ said, an 11-11 elimination record, and John A has a 2 and like 6 or something. Like her only wins are against Sarah and Caitlin in a puzzle and Emily Fitzpatrick, which, I mean, the Sarah one is big. The second one, not.
Yeah.
I just preferred that the twist be announced prior to the elimination. And I didn't particularly care for, hey, Alton, you can go ahead and you can pick any woman that you want. Like the strongest woman in the house to be your partner to completely annihilate Beth and Cyrus.
Yep. What do we think about the competition itself?
I mean, it's good. It was an exciting elimination.
Yep, I agree. I liked the addition of the climbing. Like I said, I think it was incredibly convenient that they added the climbing portion right after watching Alton try and climb the house. But
I think they were thinking of this elimination. How do we make this an elimination for 2 people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we already built the set. We don't want to like do more work with the set. We gotta have somebody punching through these walls since it didn't happen last week.
So it wasn't the greatest elimination ever, but it definitely wasn't the worst.
Yeah, it's no hall brawl.
No, yeah, it's no hall brawl.
It's more of a wall punch.
It's no Fessy.
The music choice is good song, but less. I don't know how it fits here. Holding Out for a Hero started playing halfway through the challenge, and I think Beth and Cyrus were really the ones that needed a hero.
Yeah,
I think I mean I love this song. It's one of my favorite songs ever. I would recommend researching Tandiamon Dupree, who is falling down from the ceiling into a split. That is the instant vibe that I got from that. They're like, okay, they're falling off this platform and somebody's about to drop right into a split.
Somebody just watched season 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good song. Like, yes, I only know this song because of the Shrek movie and that young.
But I think it was... Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know what I was going to say.
I think it was an appropriate song because they are trying to hype Cyrus up as this guy is on like his last leg, like his ankles are shot. Yeah, his ankles are completely shot, but he's not going to quit. He's not going to stop, especially after watching everything that happened last episode. We have to hype Cyrus up as this guy. He's trying to pull these Herculean feats with busted ankles.
Yeah.
So something that got me is like when Cyrus can no longer pull himself up on his own, Beth tries to help out, and first she grabs a little piece of drywall and like leans it up against the wall for him to somehow climb on. I'm like, how is a 250-pound dude going to stand on that piece of drywall and it doesn't crumble underneath? It does, and so then she tries using her back as a step stool,
and then he almost breaks her in half.
I love Beth.
Beth is great.
Why did she have to leave? Like, couldn't you just keep her there and stay?
This is like the worst case scenario. We need Beth for the whole season, but
Season cancelled, restart, bring them back, recast the ones that already went home because who cares?
I mean, hope All Stars gets a season 2 and she returns.
Yeah, what is the chance that we'll see either Beth or Cyrus again?
Very low.
Really?
Yes, because they are old.
I think it's a very high chance that they'd return. I mean, you see Cyrus in the end of the episode, and he's like, give me a physical competition. Let's go. I'm going to kick anybody's ass. And
a real Tessie.
I'm not going to count. Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, nothing. I mean, like, he was being like a real Fessy, but more likable.
Yeah, but I'm not going to discount somebody because of their age. I mean, they're clearly... I mean, Cyrus is physically fit, even in his age. So I think...
Beth looks the same.
Yeah. A year later, I think they both still stand a good shot at returning. Do I think they may be the oldest people in the cast? Yes. But... Beth is clearly entertaining. Cyrus is entertaining. Give the audience more. We want more.
Before this season... Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I think I'm saying no because of their age, not because physically. I think just, like, they have, like, actual lives outside of the reality show to live.
Yeah. I agree. I'm also thinking about people on the challenge that are sort of making the challenge their career, and they're going on 5, 6, 7 seasons back to back. And as long as Beth and Cyrus are interested in potential, like, it doesn't have to be next season, but as long as they return for a future season, I
want Cyrus and Beth over, let's say, half of the Big Brother cast? Yes.
Yeah. I mean...
before the season, I would say no way. But I think after this, I don't think the producers are losing either of their numbers.
Stop casting from Big Brother.
I think the best shot is if they do an All Stars 2. I think it'd be really cool if they did this like as a once-a-year season where they just bring back, people from old seasons and kind of creates this Generation 2 of the challenge that kind of gets distinguished from the main challenge. So you can kind of bring people back like Veronica and Anissa, and they have a shot, and you can kind of keep these characters in on the show.
There's clearly
Coral.
Yeah, I was going to say clearly interest for people like Coral, Evelyn. Some people really want Emily Schramm,
Paula.
Yeah,
Susie. Susie.
I think Susie and Sarah are sort of like done with the challenge, but I'd love to see them back.
Maybe, but this is a different thing, though. This is different.
Yeah.
Like, I think Susie would be interested in, like, this old school type challenge. Like, I don't think she would be, like, in a modern season because I don't think...
seasons take months.
Yeah.
Like, the reason quite a few people signed up for this was it was 3 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was only filmed in 3 weeks. So they went for 3 weeks. Yeah, they filmed it for 3 weeks, and then they were able to go back on with their lives. So they didn't have as much of a commitment as they would for a regular season.
What's like generally the recovery time for these challenges? I mean, this season seems to be like pretty paced out. Once a day there's a thing, but like for regular seasons of the challenge, sometimes they do like the crazy physical things, and I'm like, how in the world do they have time to recover until the next thing?
Or these all-night challenges that we're getting.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
And maybe that's why, because the seasons are much longer. Yeah, I've always kind of wondered that.
They have 19 episodes to fill, so...
Less episodes, less filler, more just get to the point.
Yes.
Like, double agents could have really had double eliminations, easily.
I think they did. I think they had one double elimination.
And they could have had more if it wasn't for all of the medical evacuations and quits.
I mean, they were mostly like, hold on. Nicole was med, Liv was med, Natalie was emergency, Nam was med, Lolo quit, Leo quit.
I'm on episode, but gosh, that sounds terrible.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you're not.
No, it's okay. So it's kind of the co-wrong of challenge seasons.
Yes, a lot of people got medevaced.
Yeah, but it was primarily because of one challenge.
Oh yeah, that dangerous challenge. You said, how far are you into it again?
I watched it.
I'm 3 episodes in. So
Yeah,
I've
so
seen.
I
just saw.
Was it where they were wrestling on top of a moving
I saw Devin beat. Who is Devin against?
Wes.
Yeah, Devin beat Wes.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you watched that.
So you watched that challenge where like
that main challenge.
girls.
Yeah, so I saw what's her name? Nicole go home.
Yeah, which I mean, yeah, sad she went home in elimination, but thank God.
Yeah, but she's a strong competitor, so like if she did stick around, she'd be there for a while. So that always kind of like
strong, but she's like the
changes
rest of them, strong with no personality.
She has more than some.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I'll take her over a number of people on the show.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of unfortunate. Nicole's been on 3 seasons of the challenge, and 2 of them she's been medically evacuated.
Yeah. She kind of has, to me, I've always seen her having like Evelyn upside.
Yeah.
Evelyn, but more annoying.
Evelyn was annoying too.
I could stand Evelyn. I can't stand Nicole that much. I think it's because I also watched her on the on X on the Beach, and she was really bad on that season.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't watch that.
Yeah, she makes you feel bad for Laurel. That's how bad she is.
Ooh.
Like you root for Laurel when that's how bad she is.
So what is our predictions? What's going to happen next episode or the rest of the season? Lee and I, we didn't lose anybody from our draft.
Not yet.
Neither of us had drafted Beth or Cyrus. So we still have our teams intact mostly.
Yeah.
So my hope for future challenges is I just hope that the format that they've established in episode 5 is going to continue on. If you're going to have the lowest placing male and the lowest placing female compete against whoever you voted in, and then a person of their choice, keep it that way.
Well, I'd like it you vote in one man and one girl rather than here choose someone.
Well, they've established this as, they established it this episode as lowest placing man and lowest placing woman are in the elimination as a pair together. And then whether it's a male day or a female day, whoever gets voted in, they pick their partner. I don't want it to be this one-off thing because you all decided to pull a gag, pull a twist, and then in the rest of the
double
episode,
save when it wasn't deserved.
Yeah.
Even if they do the double eliminations, I don't see how they get rid of enough people in time for 9 episodes. They're going to have to do a purge or something.
This was episode 5, right? So
yeah, this was episode 5.
8 more people are going, and there's 16 people.
There's 16
well,
people.
No, you would have to have a purge, because if the 9th episode is the finale, then you would need to eliminate 4 people in one episode.
At least.
I mean,
Yeah,
they did do that
in
before.
order to have 8 in the finale.
Yeah.
I mean, they did do that before in the final.
Yeah, it's possible. But then even in the finals, like, when you have 8 people in a final, they're usually cutting out because it's an individual, and they're going to cut out half of them.
Yeah.
From a part 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they do keep that, if you're voting and you pull somebody in, that could easily work. Because it's like, you vote me in, I'm dragging you into elimination with me, and I'm not going to bother. Like, they could easily be like that.
Yeah. I think next episode, if in the first 5 minutes I see a big scene with Yes or with Kellyanne, I'm worried for them.
Yeah. Not Kellyanne. She's like bringing the behind the scenes, like the underrated laughs. Like, she's not featured much, but when she is, it's funny.
I mean,
Like
I'd love to see more from her, but we haven't
Yeah.
seen much yet.
Like her saying in the final, like, Kendall is always beating me. I hate that bitch.
Well, this has been so much fun. Clark, thank you for joining us. You are welcome back anytime.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed this.
We will be back next week, Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern, on Live Reality Games. We will. You can always subscribe on YouTube, like the page on Facebook. If you're interested in being a part of a live reality game, you can always check out Live Reality Games Casting, or Live Reality Games on Facebook Casting. Is that right? I'm butchering this.
Yeah.
Someone put a link in there. Search it on Facebook. Live Reality Games Casting. It's there. You can find games like what Clark puts on, and you can play games just like the challenge, and it's really fun. So anyway, until next week, take care.
Bye, everyone.